Quick note, this is an AI-assisted recap made for learning, not the original video, and not an official translation. Host Guowei sits down with Harvard Business School's Christina Wallace to ask a sharp question: is AI quietly redistributing our wealth, and can we use it to beat the grind? Her starting point is striking. As the cost of executing work collapses towards zero, value stops living in the execution and moves to what only humans can do. Look at what AI has done to the cost of producing things. Writing software, drafting a report, making a first version, all of it races toward almost free. When anyone can execute cheaply, executing stops being scarce. And in an economy, whatever stops being scarce stops commanding much value. So the money and leverage drain out of technical execution and flow toward the human and service side of the work. That shift is the whole story. So what is that uniquely human work? First, judgment. AI can lay out every option, but making the actual call in a messy, ambiguous situation is still on us. Second, accountability. A model can recommend a decision, but only a human can be held responsible, only a person can be sued or jailed for the call. That's why AI-driven service firms are suddenly compelling bets for investors who once avoided services. Owning the client relationship beats simply shipping a product. As execution gets cheap, the so-called soft skills quietly become hard currency: communication, psychology, a feel for history, and the ability to read a room. Above all, storytelling, the kind that creates meaning, belief, and motivation in others. This is where AI still stumbles, stuck in an uncanny valley of story. A model can assemble the words, but it can't yet make a team truly believe in a mission. That very human spark is exactly what keeps rising in value. Here's the twist on wealth. AI does two opposite things at once. It consolidates enormous value into a few frontier giants with the capital, chips, and data centers. Wallace compares this to the railroads, a normal infrastructure pattern where a few players own the expensive backbone everyone else runs on top of. But at the same time, it democratizes. The cost of starting a company falls towards zero, so a solo founder, using a tool like Base 44, can now build real things alone. Wallace tells of Oliver, an aeronautics engineer, not a professional programmer, who understood one workflow deeply: the industrial design drawing process most people never see. That's a niche within a niche, yet it sits inside a $53 billion market. With AI, he went from idea to prototype to paid pilots and design partners in 4 months. And he did it with no hires. His edge wasn't coding, it was domain and contextual intelligence. Deep knowledge of a real problem is what broke the barrier. So which roles are most exposed? Wallace points to middle managers and many product managers, whose core job is coordinating people and consolidating information up and down. That's uncomfortable, because passing and summarizing information between layers is exactly the kind of task AI is astonishingly good at doing quickly and cheaply. It doesn't mean these people are worthless. It means the pure coordination part of their job is fading, and the value has to move somewhere more human. So what does the new organization look like? Not a flat org, Wallace argues, but a mix of two shapes of people working together in a more fluid way. First, T-shaped experts. They keep their deep specialty, use AI for leverage, quality check its work, and connect their piece to the so what across other teams. Second, M-shaped generalists in the middle, capable, curious, adaptable people who do a bit of everything. Together, these two shapes make teams fluid and resilient. For leaders, Wallace offers a subtle tip. When you announce big change, also tell people clearly what is not changing, otherwise they panic and imagine the worst. Frame AI as taking the menial, repetitive, low cognitive tasks off people's plates, freeing them up for the creative and strategic work that humans actually want to do. And rather than firing, redeploy. The people who already understand your customers and culture are precious. Move them into new roles instead of throwing that knowledge away. So how do you personally beat the grind? Wallace's answer is the portfolio life. You already have a de facto portfolio: work, family, health, friends, community, adding up to 100%. The move is to design those allocations for your current season and rebalance when the season changes. That gives you diversification, an identity beyond your job, optionality, and real agency. It's not about doing more, it's about protecting your time. The original video is linked in the description, so go watch the full conversation. See you next time.